Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Thank you for watching. Well, by now we're all have heard. So, Joe Biden is not going to run for re-election. He's only going to finish out his one term. And in November 5th, 24, Kamala Harris is going to be on the Democratic ticket. And already it is like a big splash in the water, and the ripple effects is just non-stop. There's a lot of good things going on. A lot of people are more excited. I've had a few friends of mine say to me, hey, we told you, they're Trump supporters, of course, and I've said that, Biden wasn't going to make it. I wasn't so sure, and I was pretty confident Biden was going to take it to end and even be victorious, but he decided to put country, ahead of his own ambitions, which is fine. I give him credit for that, and some other things. He's made a few mistakes too, but at this point, none of that matters right now, because now Kamala is on the ticket, and now she is showing to be a strong force, and it's got the people on the right, the GOP, and even far right-wing media like Fox and some of these other outlets going absolutely ballistic, and it is pretty amazing to watch. So far, we've seen Mike Johnson complain, who thinks he wants to take some kind of legal action, like sue, that supposedly they can't do that. Somebody made an interesting point that Joe Biden, back in 2020, kind of hinted that he was probably only going to do it for one term and then pass it on to the younger generation. I'm not 100% sure on that, so, take it with a grain of salt. But the bottom line is, he chose to step down. And some of you were concerned about his age and everything, about being too old, cognitive decline. I had a little concerns myself, but I was still trying to be optimistic. And guess what? You don't have to worry about that now. Because Donald Trump, he's the old guy out there, and he is showing cognitive decline and showing he doesn't have what it takes, that he's about as unfit as can be to be president. And Kamala Harris is a strong opponent that he has to contend with now, and he's freaking out too. Him and Stephen Miller, that friggin' gargoyle, on Fox News was complaining, and Trump was putting out tweets on his True Social about, they invested all this money on a Biden campaign, but now they got to change it because now it's Kamala Harris, that he's complaining that it's some kind of fraud, that he should be reimbursed. Reimbursed for what? There was no fraud. What is he talking about? I mean, this guy has become one of the biggest male Karens I have ever seen. And Stephen Miller too. You know what? Screw you. You guys don't like it? Sell a few Bibles. That should be fine. In fact, yesterday in the park, I dropped a little pocket change. If you find it, it's yours. You can put it towards your little pathetic campaign. There's another congressperson out there that already wants to impeach Kamala Harris. For what? That strategy has been tried before on Joe Biden. Twice, at least, to my knowledge. It was a failure back then. It's going to be a failure now. You know what, Mike? File your legal actions. File your lawsuits. Same thing. Try the impeachment. Watch it fall through the cracks. My only regret would that be is that it would probably be a waste of taxpayer money. But you know what? Let them trip over themselves. Because a lot of the things we're also hearing on the right is just a lot of racist attacks, some pretty disgusting ads that have been putting out. If you do a Google search, you'll see them. I'm not going to describe them because they're not worth talking about. Because again, it's just really, really sinking to a whole new low. The key thing I've been seeing a lot on Fox is that Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, because nothing shows, strength and patriotism than bigotry being masked as, just hiding behind like, oh, it's DEI. They can't say the N-word, so they got to throw DEI out there. Byron Donalds, what about him? Is he a DEI hire? What about Tim Scott? What about Herschel Walker, when you guys were all hot and heavy over him running for Senate? Was he a DEI hire too? Fox was saying that as well. Of course, if you presented that question to them, you'd hear a bunch of tickets, because, it has nothing to do with merit. They're just doing anything they can to attack her. They can't attack her on policy, so they got to go after, the skin color and all this other nonsense. It is just absolutely pathetic watching them freak out. And Trump himself is scared. How do we know? Because he's refused to debate her. Gee, I wonder why. If there's one thing that Donald Trump is afraid of, it's not only a strong woman, but a strong woman of color, ripping them apart, and she is razor sharp. She used to be a former prosecutor. She has her own achievements. She's been way more involved in politics than Donald Trump ever has been, and ever will be. So she stands a pretty good, strong chance of defeating him, and the right knows this. So that's why, like I said, they're doing everything they can to try and discredit her, but it's not going to work. So, what does that mean for us, the voters? I'm not talking about the MAGA cult members. They're already sold on Trump. I still get comments from them on certain media, and I have some friends, like I said, who are supporters who, they're still in line. Kamala Harris has gained a lot of support. You know, she's raised a lot of money in a matter of a few days. There's been an uptick in voter registration, and supposedly this is coming from new, younger voters and stuff like that. So far we are off to a really good start. Now, I am not trying to be any type of killjoy or pessimist when I say this, but the simple truth is, there is no guarantee. So, now is not the time to get comfortable. Now is the time to keep pushing even harder. Back in 2020, I was kind of under the same mindset, where I was putting the message out, where Biden, you know, prior to beating Trump, fair and square, yes he did, he defeated Donald Trump, get over it. He has to campaign like lives depend on it, because they do. We have to vote and get involved like lives depend on it. Our lives, as well as the lives of the people around us, to say nothing about nationwide, depend on it, because they do. Okay, Donald Trump has a twisted agenda with his, you know, Agenda 47 and Project 2025, which he keeps trying to deny and distance himself on. In fact, even the Heritage Foundation, they were talking about saying some kind of legal action. Like, what the hell are these people talking about? They've shown time and time again they don't care about the American people, that they just want to overturn the government, you know, empower themselves, and just cater up to the wealthy and big corporations. You know, tax cuts and all that other stuff and tariffs, those are things that are going to impact us. To say nothing about a nationwide abortion ban and some other terrible things that is going to really put a dent and turn us into a fascist country. We have to stand up for that. Like I've talked about before, I have encouraged people to get more involved in phone banking, canvassing. Those are things I've been doing. Yesterday and this morning I was doing some postcard writing. I've got phone banking tomorrow, and I've got some other stuff scheduled ahead. If you are already doing that, that's great. Keep doing it. And the more you can do it, that's fine. If you're somebody who hasn't done it before, but now you're considering it, make that step. You might think to yourself, I've never done this before. Well, for everything, there is a first time. Give it a try. You'd be surprised that it can be a little rough sometimes. Reaching out to voters, canvassing and stuff, you might be a little nervous, but I'll leave some links below explaining some of the experiences I had and other information to help get more involved. If you're not comfortable doing things face-to-face, fine. You can do letters to potential voters, especially in swing states. You can do postcard and texting as well. That doesn't require any, direct contact. So, you might be more at ease as this. You might say, I can only do it like an hour or two a week. That's fine. Every little bit counts. Make donations. We raised a lot of money so far. Let's not stop. We got to keep going all the way up until November. When Kamala defeats Trump, guess what? Then we can take a break and take a deep breath. But for now, let's just stay on track. That's what I'm doing. That's what I encourage everyone around me to do. And like I said, if you haven't gotten involved yet, now don't wait till like Labor Day to start. Start doing it now and getting involved. Okay? Because the more effort we put into it, the greater we have our chance of winning. The more voters we talk to and get on board to vote and support Harris, the better chance we have of winning. We only get one shot at this, okay? We can't afford to lose. Because if we do, saying, you could have done something but you just chose not to, then you're going to cut it, okay? The cult is already on board. And there are some people, and like I said, some of them are freaking out because of Harris, because they know she has a greater chance of winning. So let's take that victory home to us, okay, come November. Get involved, get on board, okay? Because it's not just, like I said, you got to vote like your life depends on it, as well as the lives of the people around you and nationwide. Because it does. It really does. And just carry this one message. For independent voters, those of you who have doubts, here's the simple truth. We can defeat Donald Trump in November. Believe me, we can. We did it once, we're going to do it again. Kamala Harris can defeat Donald Trump. She is a stronger person. She is smarter. She is more experienced, and she is better than Donald Trump. And on top of that, unlike Trump, she is not afraid. She is ready to put in the fight and take this to the end, to victory. Let's help her out as best as we can, okay? Anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.